Hi, thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel, Triple Aqua. I'm Mermaid Christy Ann. Today I want to talk to everyone about keeping your vibration high and basically keeping a positive attitude and how important it is, because our vibrations spill out into the world and into the universe, and it does affect everybody whether we think it or not. We are all interconnected and we are all part of the universe, the Godhead, Christ head, whatever you want to call it. And if you're not on that journey but you're watching this, maybe you're slowly waking up to it, how we all affect one another. It's like a tiny pebble that you throw into a pond, and it just has these small ripples, and then they just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's exactly how your energy is. So when you wake up in the morning, if you're feeling, down or depressed or not good or angry, you set that tone and you set that energy out into the universe. Now you can transmute energy and change it, and you can change your way of thinking. You can change the way you feel. Sometimes it's kind of like faking it until you can make it, but you are able to do that. And it's really important that if you find yourself in those low thoughts or those angry or bitter thoughts, that you change that right away. And what happens is, with practice and over time, you will just constantly be in a happy state of bliss. And basically that's what the 5D is. 5D, as in like seeing angels and things like that, like the spiritual veil lifts. It's about being compassionate and about feeling love and about feeling in a blissful state and peaceful all the time. And that's what 5D is. And if you practice that enough, you don't let other people's energy affect you. And one of the ways that you can protect yourself from other people's energy, number one, you can ask for protection. You can ask for maybe, just ask for protection, period, or even just say, that you visualize yourself in like this clear bubble where anybody that's throwing any kind of negative energy, shade, or whatever you want to call it at you, that it bounces off your bubble and goes back to them, or just goes back into the universe. I do this a lot with people when I don't like the energy that's around. I just stay quiet and I pray about it. And it's pretty much something like that. It'll reverberate off of me and go back out and go back to that person. And it's interesting because the person clicks and they know that, oops, I shouldn't have said that, or oh, that didn't really feel good, oh, that changed the mood. And you don't even have to say anything at all. And it's kind of a superpower, but you don't do it like in a mean way or malicious way. It's just a way of protecting yourself, because you don't want that dark energy around you or to permeate onto you, because energy is very, very, very strong, and energy can attach itself to you from other people in many, many ways. And that's why your energy is so important, to protect it and keep it to yourself and only give it to those that are deserving of your energy. So I have like 3 decks here. I have the Good Tarot, and I'm just gonna shuffle it, which I haven't done that. I did light some sage, so it smells like a witch's house in here, just to clear the energy. But let's just see what the cards tell us about energy and how you can transmute energy. You can call on Archangel Michael, to protect you with his sword or his shield, and you can just pray to God, your guides, Jesus, any of divine benevolent being that you work with. I work with my descendant masters that I work with are Hilaron and Count Saint Germain, and so I call on them a lot to protect me from things, along with Archangel Michael and some of the other archangels like Shemel and Uriel. I work with them, especially Shemel, closely. And if you don't know much about the archangels, study them. Each one is responsible for a different light ray, and which represents different chakra. And just like us, sometimes we need help. God needs help too. Source, universe, whatever it is to you. But yeah, so you can. I get up most mornings and I say a certain prayer, and then some mornings I just get up and I just feel happy to be able to put my feet on the ground. And I always thank God that I'm awake, and this is a 7 of fire, and I look at the 7 of fire as like, in this particular deck, as going after things and not being scared. You see that unicorn, it's up on the top of kind of looks like a mountain, maybe even a volcano, and it's got these fireflies around it protecting it, but it looks like it's just going after something, and it's action oriented. And I feel that when you have negative energy come at you, you should be action oriented. You shouldn't let this affect you, because normally when people if they are portraying things onto you, it's because they are trying to get a rise out of you, because they want an argument, because and it's really never about you. That's the whole thing. When people do things and say ugly things or insult you or try to provoke you, it all has to do with something that's going on with them. Yes, it hurts, but at this end of the day, all you are really is a verbal punching bag. So if you are the bigger person and you can just sit there and take it, that's fine, but you don't take it to the point that it's going to affect you physically and mentally and emotionally. Take it in the sense like, okay, fine, throw whatever you want at me, but just know whatever you throw at me is going to bounce off of me. It's going to reverberate back onto you or back on into the universe. I don't want it. I'm not taking what you are throwing at me. I'm not taking that shade. I'm not taking that negativity. Because when you do accept it and you do feel like, oh, woe is me, or, you know, why does that stuff always happen to me, or I'm always being picked on, then you're just putting yourself into that mentality where you're just going to attract more of that. But when you transmute the energy and you say, nope, that's not for me, I'm protected, I'm staying at my vibration, I don't like it, so I'm giving it back to you, those people or persons will feel that, and they'll realize that they energetically, maybe their 3D self doesn't know, but their higher 4D, 5D self will know that you don't, homie, don't play that, and that that's not going to work with you. So they'll use a different tactic, and then eventually they'll just stop, and hopefully your calm, peaceful energy will be a beacon for them or a lesson for them to change and transmute their energy so that they are more positive, and what they're throwing out there is good and it's not dark energy. See, we all have a dark and light energy, and some of us are incarnated, and when we come here we have more or less than the other. The whole idea in life is to balance your chakras out and to balance this energy out, so that you're not letting, you know, you're keeping your devil on a diet. It's like that old proverb, it's an Indian proverb, you know, the little boy goes to the grandfather, I have these two wolves inside of me, you know, one is angry and bitter and aggressive, and then the other one is kind and sweet and this, that, and the other. And he says, well, which one is going to, you know, take over? And the grandfather says, well, whichever one you feed. It's the same thing. So if you're going to let your vibration every day be one of those of anger and bitter and aggressiveness, and that's all you're going to continue to attract, because you're looking for that, you're feeding that, and you are going, and then hopefully the people that you are trying to throw all that stuff to are smart enough to say, this isn't about me, this is about you. And sure, I'll be your verbal punching bag for a second, but just know that behind the scenes, I'm protecting myself, and this is bouncing off of me and going right off of me and anywhere, to you, to the universe, wherever you actually even point. You know, I don't ever like to say that it's going to go back on the person. It already does. I like to just push it back out into the ethers and just, you know, dissipate wherever. Because I always say when I feel like I put it back on the person, it hits them even harder, because I feel it already does it anyway, because it's just karma. So, you know, it's like that Saturn ring, it just goes around, comes back around. It's almost like a whiplash moment or a big slap in the face without a hand when you don't say anything. You just let that go back onto that person. So sometimes it's hard, and so you don't want to, you know, your thoughts and your words are really powerful, and you can manifest things even on the spot, you know, right then and there. So at the bottom of the deck we have the Queen of Fire. Isn't she beautiful? Queen of Fire is always known like as, you know, she's confident, she is fiery, but she controls her fire. She knows, like, so when you're throwing, you know, when people throwing shade at the queen of fire, she knows she's got that big fireball and all she has to do is freaking pull back and let it loose, but she doesn't. She just holds on to it and look at her face like, you don't want any of this, because she's learned how to temper that fire. She's learned how to temper that impulse, her impulses. You know, the page of fire, however, is a page. It's like a child, it's like a teenager, doesn't really know and out of control. But the queen, she knows how to control this. So if you're a guy, you know, take it like, if you're male energy, it's the king for you. If it's, you know, the queen, take it however it resonates. And so, yeah, it's really important. And then to keep your vibration high all day, you know, sometimes, you know, self-defeating thoughts or negative thoughts or can creep in. Change it. Just start thinking of good stuff. Start giving yourself positive affirmations. You know, anything. I am love. I deserve love. I give love. I am happy. I am joyful. I am thankful. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is to you that you want to say to yourself, but as long as it's positive, and you know, you just, like I said, you fake it until you can make it, and then eventually those thoughts, you believe it so much that you just you resonate there, and you are there all the time. And it's just like a person who's bitter and sour and argumentative and aggressive. They're going to constantly be in that state with everybody because that's what they constantly practice and put their energy to. Now the other person who decides to take the other side of it and turn it into a positive light, they're the ones that are always going to be like la 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 la, like the little feather, you know, floating around, like that little butterfly going everywhere, that equal opportunity butterfly, just wherever it lands, it's beautiful and everyone's happy to see it, and it just, you know, pops in and pops out. So don't let anyone rock your calm boat. Accept the things that you can't change, like it says in the Bible. You know, my family members, I think a lot of them have taught me that, and people that I've cared about the most in life, that, you know, sometimes you just have to find peace in the things that you can't change and just accept those things. And, you know, it's their journey, so you can't judge people for being a certain way, even though, you know, you might want to be like, I don't understand why so-and-so's like this, or they're always like this, or they're always like that. Yeah, but then, you know, you're just kind of feeding into all the negativity too. Don't do that. Just accept it. It's obviously something that they have to work through and that they're going through, and doesn't mean it's a reflection on you. Yes, you might be the target. They might say ugly things to you, but oh, how cool. So I started shuffling from the Akashic Tarot, and we got Adsum. And Adsum is a very powerful word. Adsum is basically saying, I believe, like, I am here, I am presence. So the neat thing is this young girl, and she looks like she's in a study, and you would think she's by herself. There's one actual live person walking in the door with books. But then she's got an angel whispering in her ear. She has like what looks like an ancient ancestor, an older woman, and then an older man that looks like he's wearing some other, like, I'm not sure what kind of clothes. And then there's like a couple of fairies in the background. So just know that you aren't alone. And when you feel like you're being attacked, you can say those words, Adsum, and know that you are surrounded by loving presence and people who are caring about you, because you see everyone's happy. And, you know, she's although she thinks she's by herself, she feels like she's just surrounded by pure joy and love. And you are. So even when you're being attacked by people, or people are just not being thoughtful of you, and they're not being respectful of you, and they're saying things that they know that you wouldn't like, or things that you know, are going to make you feel uncomfortable anyway, say this to yourself: transmute the energy, put your protective bubble around you, and then you'll be good. And it really, really, really works. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have Archangel Raphael, which is beautiful because Archangel Raphael is the only archangel that comes in human form, not in angel form. And as you see, he's holding that big green spear because he works with the your heart chakra, which is green. So, you know, you're surrounded by a lot of love, and make, you know, maybe expand your heart chakra when this is happening to people, and you can even share that energy to them and just say something to the fact like, you know, dear God, please let my heart chakra expand, that they may feel the love that I feel and the presence that I feel. And then that way they will stop. Even if you're on the phone with the person, even if, you know, it's in a text or verbally or whatever, or if it's in person, energy is energy. It's like when you're thinking about somebody and then all of a sudden they call you and they're states away. So it's powerful, and it moves mountains. It moves, it's like a wave, and it just doesn't stop. So it all depends on what kind of wave are you putting out. You know, are you putting out this little tiny negative wave? Well, remember that little tiny negative wave is going to make a big ripple and a big ripple, and it's going to keep going until it gets bigger. So why not put out something positive and good and beautiful? So I'm going to pull from the Cosmic Tarot now. And yeah, I think that was a really good message, and I feel like this is like my therapy, so I can let some of this go, because you know, you don't want to hold like any anger or resentment. When people are frustrated too and sometimes scared, they put they project onto you what things that they have to work on, or fears, or you know, it could be so many things. Take it however it resonates for you. So it's been overcast, kind of on and off here today in Key West. That's why this video might seem a little dark. I don't even have any of the lights on, but it's not that late in the day. I think it's around, I don't know, my phone's recording so I can't see. But yeah, oh, how beautiful. Yeah, and so eventually what happens is, you know, you'll feel like the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is very balanced. It's an equal give and take. It's reciprocity, and that's where you want to be in your relationship. So if you feel that someone is really, really, really rocking your calm boat, get into this state where you're balanced, where you want to diffuse the energy so that it can be a really nice give and take back and forth. Whether it's energetically, whether it's physically, whatever it is, verbally. Just know that if they're throwing shade at you and they're throwing negative things, if you're going to do that back, that's all you're going to get back and forth, back and forth. But if you're putting things out there in love and patience and peace, just serene thoughts, eventually that will affect that energy and you can transmute it. Now, sometimes it's too much for the person that's really, really in their devil energy to grasp, so a lot of times they'll stop, or they'll just like be done with you and they don't want to deal with it, and they'll come around. They're just going through a funk. It doesn't last, and you know, it won't at least last with you. It might last if they take that energy somewhere else and bark at somebody else and keep barking at them, then it might last. But usually you'll be able to diffuse the situation. They might think about it and then realize, okay, I'm not being positive, I'm putting out negative energies. And it's not, it's no judgment too, because, you know, they're going through something. And so we can't take it personal. It doesn't make us feel good. It might hurt for a second, but shake it off. Don't let it affect you, and don't let it change you. Make sure that you're that person that's giving that really, really beautiful give and take, that equal reciprocity. That Six of Cups, it's really nostalgic. The Six of Cups also, it's good memories. So think of happy thoughts, think of good things that have happened in the past, and that's basically what it is. And you know, a lot of times the Six of Cups is you know, people that you know from the past, and or instances that you have in the past, or memories that you've had in the past that are really sweet. So that's nice. And then you've got the Three of Cups in the bottom of the deck. Lots of cups, emotions. You got the Three of Cups at the bottom of the deck, and the Three of Cups are for like celebrating happy times. So know that when you do this, you will be celebrating happy times, whether it be by yourself, because you're not going to feed into it, and you're not going to bring your energy down, your vibration down. So you're going to be having your own Three of Cups with yourself, or eventually you're going to spill those cups, that energy out into the world, into the universe, and you're going to help other people celebrate and be happy. So thank you so much. I hope you will like, share, and subscribe. And remember, always keep swimming towards your dreams. Bye.